are on. Welcome back to the Chaos. Today we've got DLC info. We've got some new horse racing slash archery, and there's patch 1.3 out. So we're going to go over those in that order. Sorry, I wanted to get this out yesterday, but it's been crazy windy here, and the internet was out for like 7 hours yesterday, and then I was having problems with it again today. So I wasn't able to get it, but just got back from the gym, got the protein shake, and it's working. So we're gonna try to get this video out as quick as we can. So let's get into it. Brushes with Death, the new DLC. It's out right now. I don't want to get into like any spoilers with it. Basically, it's just some new story stuff somewhere in the vicinity of Trasky Castle. You're gonna get it started. So basically, you're gonna go back to the old map, and right, so you're gonna travel there if you're not there, and there should be, I believe, it's a purple shield with a little skull in it. Right, once you log into the game, it pops up a little screen showing you exactly how to start it, and that's basically what it's saying. So, some new story stuff. I believe there's some new armor and maybe weapons attached to it. It says it all in that screen. Plus, you get to paint your own shield. So some of that kind of stuff. So pretty cool. DLC is out. I don't have a video with it out right now, but I'm working on that. So I'll try to attach that once it comes out. It'll probably be out. This will probably go out Friday. You'll probably see that Saturday on the channel if you're kind of hanging out. Next, we have horse racing and archery. So I don't know too much about this other than, obviously what it says in here. I haven't tried it yet. It's a free DLC update, and I believe it said that it comes with some horse items, right? So I don't know if it's going to be anything super good, but cosmetically, hopefully it's cool looking. But again, we'll get into that on the channel here probably Saturday or Sunday. We'll have some specific videos out for the DLC, so I will attach those once those come out. But yeah, come on over and check those out. It should be pretty cool. And now let's get into the meat and potatoes here. The patch 1.3, which it's actually bigger than I thought it was going to be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over some of the new stuff. Once we get to where the missions have been updated, I'm just going to leave that. I'm not going to go over all of that because it's going to turn a 10-minute video into a 30-minute video. So what I would recommend is go on Kingdom Come RPG.com, and that's kind of their official site, and you can just click on the patch notes, and if you've been having trouble in a mission, go to it. Otherwise, like I said, it doesn't pertain to enough people for me to go over every single mission and every change they made in the missions, so we'll go over the rest, but that part I'll leave to you. So patch 1.3, we got horse racing. Introducing horse racing. Come to the Nomads camp in the Trotsky region to prove your skills in cross-country races and mounted archery competitions. And like I said, they do mention that there's rewards for it and all that cool stuff. There are now also 3 new quests related to the horse racing activities, so you can enjoy it even better. Horses for Courses, Racing Horseshoes, and the Executioner's Edge. All right, alchemy. We added more drying racks to fixed an issue with incorrect number of potions in the codex, fixed glitching animations. Black powder container models fixed. They modified the special ingredient models, and they modified the cameras. So some alchemy updates. Animals, they fixed the movement of fireflies and butterflies, and then they improved the movement of cows. Okay. Balancing. So here's some good stuff. So they rebalanced the difficulty of enemies to make Gutenberg region a bit more challenging. Eventually I'll learn how to read. That's one of the bigger ones that they had mentioned earlier. So the game, it is fairly easy once you get to a certain point, especially if you just do the master strikes and all that jazz. I try to stay away from it, but it's just like it's so good. They tried to make the second map harder, basically, which I'm all for. So I think that'll be cool. The difficulty of bandits and various points of interest. Some previous unobtainable items are now in shops. Stat influence of the drunkenness. So they kind of reworked a lot of the drunk stuff, it sounds like. They rebalanced horseshoe prices. The slowing effect of bane poison's been removed. They rebalanced bows. Fewer drunk people in towns. They fixed incorrect alcohol amount in wine. I wish they would kind of say like which way they went, because I don't know. It seemed fine to me before, but I don't know. Generally slightly rebalanced alcohol. It's a great sentence. Generally slightly rebalanced alcohol. Improved diversification in shops, clothing, armor, and shoes. That's definitely something I want to check out. Apparently there's better stuff in shops now. Because I think a lot of you are like me where you got like 8 million coins. Improve the diversity of goods or groschen at blacksmith and swordsmiths in the Kuttenberg region. Increased shop prices. Increase the difficulty of robbing merchants. Rebalanced raw meat spoil time. And they rebalanced shop inventories in Sigismund's camp. So a lot of endgame challenges or balances there, which is pretty cool. Barber animation sounds for the barber. They fixed those, I guess. They fixed one of the barber missing in the game entirely if the player loaded the game for the first time since updating to version 1.2. Blah 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 blah. A good scrub already completed. So if that was you, they fixed that. Caravans, they fixed an issue where wagons would pass through NPCs in a dialogue. Let's see. Combat fixed UI element not notifying the player they cannot reload in current state or place. They fixed inconsistent levels of zoom when aiming crossbows between different display aspect ratios. They fixed issues related to combat opponent asking for mercy while performing a combo. In the training, they fixed a soft lock caused by the drunk blackout. They fixed the player being able to reach the final duel without a weapon equipped, and they improved collisions of the training area into Devil's Den. And the tutorial with Tomcat has been improved, I guess. So, all good things. Controls. Drawing melee weapons in crouch is now disabled if the player is in an area with a ceiling too low to stand up. Okay? Fixed problems relating to asking for directions during hardcore mode and activating an interactor before the map opened up. Okay? Fixed controller vibration when carrying a woman's corpse. All right, some crime. So they did change this around a little bit. They added a tutorial to warn you about sleeping in somebody else's bed. They adjusted when mutt attacking people is considered a crime. Humans that the player meets in fights won't surrender anymore. They fixed an issue where guards knowing the player's location upon discovering a broken lock on a pillory. Fixed an issue with the crime of killing hens, sometimes not being attributed to a player. Fixed stuck trespass warning icon in Kuttenberg. That's a good one. Fixed the trespass area in Sukdal Tavern. I don't remember that one. Improved crime icon indication, the crime reaction of NPCs, guard sleeping behavior. They rebalanced stats for shop guards in Kuttenberg, and they reduced the severity of NPC reactions to sleeping in someone else's bed. Right. All right, some daily life. So here's some more good stuff. They added the ownership to items in the Huntsman Hut and Opatowitz. They fixed trespass being active during open hours in the cellar part of the tavern. Fixed an issue where sellers would sometimes leave their door unlocked and open upon ending their shift and going to the tavern. Guards will now have their crossbows drawn when standing still. Modified innkeeper wave and stay cycle so that he doesn't enter the trespass area during work time. Modified RPG stats for huntsmen and gamekeepers. They set up NPCs and Trasky to go lie down and heal when hurt. They fixed weird animations, gesture of drunk NPCs holding a lantern, and they adjusted contents of cauldrons around Kuttenberg to better fit the social classes of people eating out of them. Interesting. So, kind of some daily life fixes, which are always nice, especially because this game, that's such a big part of it, especially at the end. Dice, they added a dice player to the Tavern in Devil's Den, Miskowitz, and Sukdal, and to the Emperor Charles Tavern in Kuttenberg. Okay. All right, we got some environmental changes. The mixing collision on Railroad, Sukdal Castle, they improved the LOD distance at the Emperor Charles Inn. They polished various collisions and locations, causing unenjoyable combat around Grund, Kuttenberg, Old Kuten, Opatowitz, Sigmund's Camp, Sukdal, and Verklix. I think I said that one right. Removed the placeholder repair kit from the inside of the gunmaker shop in Kuttenberg. Added a door lock for the blacksmith in Sukdal. Improved collisions on the lake and river by Malashov. They fixed missing door interactor for the player's room at the Takoff blacksmith. They fixed rain inside the Trosky Castle. Interesting. And they improved the anvil height at Devil's Den. I have no idea what that last one means, but good stuff, I'm assuming. Equipment maintenance. Bathhouse owners and repairmen will now properly react to player being branded. Here's a cool one. They fixed the fast travel time on horseback being slower than on foot. I was wondering about that. I'm glad that's been fixed. Fixed the player sometimes being able to travel to an undiscovered fast travel point. In hardcore mode, they fixed missing translations for French and Italian languages in the perk selection screen. Horse riding, they fixed a problem with the horse twitching when approaching a trough. Fixed various paths not allowing horse magnetism in the Trosky region. They modified horse behavior for places and speed limits. They polished FOV during horse riding, and they removed horse speed limit by in Bolani, Miskowitz, and Raborsh. Horse trading, they fixed an issue with displaying item icon during horse purchase dialogue. They fixed the player's horse ownership after safe load. And they fixed an issue where horse purchases in Samine would keep returning to Samine when the player traveled from the Kuttenberg region to the Trosky region. We're almost done. Lockpicking, they adjusted the difficulty when using controllers. Thank God, I hope they made it easier. I guess now that my guy doesn't suck at it anymore, it's not so bad. But early on, it's pretty tricky. Music, they improved the music choice around the Kuttenberg Church and Cemetery. And then Mutt, they fixed Mutt's weird movement when calling him to heal. They fixed a mismatch in his obedience stat being displayed in sidekicks part of the inventory. They polished his animation when fetching a hare. Nice. And they fixed an issue where Mutt would sometimes attack the player. What? That's funny. Never happened to me. Random events, they fixed horses of NPCs in various random events, sometimes remaining still in the middle of the road without a rider. They fixed player not waking up on the ground after drinking with the celebrating father in a random event. They fixed a prompt without proper text when talking to the Riddler Barley, and contest resulting in a tie will no longer be a win for the player in the shooting competition in the random event camps. Cool, cool. They fixed blinking text, reputation. NPCs familiar with Henry will now properly address him by name if he's come to see them. Very cool. Room renting, they fixed a problem in Hangman's Halter, fixed a problem with locked door in Malchov, fixed broken trespass in rented room in Old Kutna, and they fixed the unlocked guest room in the Zelazhov Inn. Much more do we got? Okay, we're almost there. Let's see, where did I leave off? Skill trainers, they fixed an issue where skill teacher icons could point to a dead NPC. They removed the skill teacher icon in situations when the teacher no longer has anything left to teach. Okay, that's cool. Skills and perks fixed an issue where upon loading a play line on newer patches, invalid point of interest markers could appear in the map filters. They fixed the Explorer perk staying active when starting a new game. They fixed the Die Hard perk cooldown being shorter than intended. The effect of the Head Start perk now has 2-minute cooldown, and they increased the Sandman perk effect. Nice, nice, nice. Okay. Perks are a big part of the game, especially at the end. They definitely changed the gameplay, so that's pretty cool. Sounds like some good changes, I guess. UI, they added a short fader when opening inventory for smoother transition from the game world. Nice, nice. And some miscellaneous ones. They fixed the classification of honey and eggs for the purpose of stats. They fixed dialogue logic with Innkeeper Betty and Troskowitz. Holes dug by the player now stay dug out. After a level switch, they improved structure and logic in Brabant's lore dialogues. They improved physics of clothes of characters on horseback. Nice. Fixed consistency issues with shoes being able to be worn under some plate leg armor. Fixed an issue causing some soldiers to not properly switch to ragdoll when killed. Nice. And they fixed a partly missing voiceover for a general store seller in the Jewish Quarter. All right, last part, some platform-specific stuff. On PS5, they fixed an issue where quitting the game using the save and quit option could freeze the game indefinitely. Okay. Xbox, they fixed audio being audible even when volume set to 0. They fixed an issue where the, I don't know what that is, Playow help website could not be opened. Playon? I don't know if that's a typo or what, but they fixed an issue with save files sometimes becoming, I'm assuming it is, sometimes being invalid when owning the Golden Edition. Nice. And then the next is like the quest. So like I said, we'll skip that part because we don't want the video to last forever. But yeah, that's your patch notes. So some pretty good changes. It's cool they're still working on the game. And you know, it is a DLC release, so usually most games will do some sort of patch when they release a DLC, which it sounds pretty cool. But like I said, you know, we'll probably have a video out for some of those DLC things over the weekend. Otherwise, we've got the Discord up and running, so if that's your cup of tea, check out the link in the description. And yeah, I think that's about it. I guess with all that being said, hopefully you enjoyed today's video. Go out there, be a good person. It's not that hard. And I will see you on the next one.